Hey, I'm Avery Lane, your intuitive life mentor, soul activator, and motivational speaker. During the next 5 days or 5 segments, we are diving into the You Identity Immersion, a place where you can discover your purest identity truths and learn to live from them with inside of your soul centered aligned self. You see, our identity is not just the roles we play in this life or the things we do. Identity goes deeper into our belief systems. There's really a mind, emotional, and body physical reality connection to them that really is the essence of us and our soul selves. In the next 5 identity segments, you are going to experience what the heck identity really is. The 4 layers to your identity, demything identity versus identity influencers, and how your identity is what you really are internally versus externally. Releasing and rewriting your story to embody the desired reality and identity eh, influencers that you want to live by. Plus, we have a little bonus session of calling back our soul fragments to experience the true reality and experience of what it means to be our whole selves. So, join me as you can in each identity segment each day of this immersion to really anchor in to your true knowing, not the roles we play in this life or the things that we do, the ways that we show up, the hats that we wear. Identity goes so much deeper into our belief system about who we are about ourselves and how we feel about ourselves and the perception that we actually allow others to have of us. And so, as a soul led coach and mentor, I have always, in some way, shape, or form, invested in myself by hiring some of the best coaches I know to guide me in and support me in my personal life journey. One particular coach, a little bit of a backstory of why I'm so passionate about this identity immersion and why I want to set you up for success. While we strip away your old layers, we're also building you up with this internal confidence and activating your own soul led power inside of your identity. So, I had a coach. This was great, right? I thought so too when I hired her. She was a coach for people and individuals that were in transition and life transitions. And so I hired her because I was in a life transition. Yet she was solely shifting into becoming an identity coach. Cool, right? I thought so too. But when I hired her to support me in the life transition, little did I know I was actually getting an identity coach versus a transition coach. I was a little confused, but hey, I went with it because maybe I needed it. Turns out I did because she did a great job of stripping away all of my identity influencers, identifiers, layers, things that were no longer for me. Yet something huge was missing. There wasn't a great job of building me back up into new anchored identity beliefs, feelings, and values about myself. So this left me in a place where I was feeling really bare, broken, and undefined about who the heck I was and what my role was inside of myself and inside of my life. So you see, anyone can tear anyone down and they can point out what they feel isn't for them any longer. But not everyone knows how to build someone back up from the basics. And this kind of sucks. This is kind of really needed. And this is what happened to me in my first identity questioning journey. Who was I? How was I supposed to be? Where was my place in the world? And I don't wish anyone else to go through this experience, knowing that what isn't for them gets to leave them and having no idea who they are and where they belong with inside of themselves and the world around you. Which is why in this identity immersion series, I can promise you, you will not be left stripped, bare, lost, and confused about who the heck you are. Instead, you'll actually get the chance to learn who you are at the purest, soul centered level self. You get to learn who your identity identifiers are, your influencers, how you get to wear the different hats in your life, but also come back to your truth and knowing if those hats are for you and if you want to actually wear them. In this, I will be giving you, of course, the elevated life tools to actually live from the soul aligned version of you, where you want to be, the one who is aligned at your soul level. And so now let's get ready to dive on in to day one. P.S. My learning style is very hands-on. My teaching style is very hands-on. And this gets to help you understand all the amazing parts that makes you, you, physically, mentally, emotionally, and of course, spiritually connected. So let's dive in to day one together. Okay, so what the heck is your identity? And where do you even begin to put together all the pieces of your you puzzle? So grab your reflection workbook. And if you don't have that in front of you or you don't have a copy of it, just grab a piece of paper because we're going to dive right into this session. Like I said, we're going to learn hands-on what makes you you. Remember, anytime you can pause this audio or video so that you can go more deeper into each question on your own. Allot yourself the next 5 to 10 minutes, even longer if you'd like, and let's start to brain dump. Okay, time to brain dump. Label that soul worksheet, brain dump on your paper. I want you to ask yourself question number one. When you think about your current thoughts, what are your current thoughts about your identity? And how would you begin to identify yourself? Who are you? Take a few moments here, pause the audio, pause the video, come back when you're ready for the next one. Okay, P.S. Our identity is not, shocker alert, it's not being a mother, a friend, a wife, a husband. It's not any of those things. Those are actually identity influencers, which we'll discuss later on in our immersion. But for now, keep them written down in a place where we'll have space for them in just a little bit. I think you can begin to see, or maybe you're starting to realize that your identity is actually the way you see, feel, and think about yourself. And the most exciting part is you actually can shift your identity by learning your self-worth, some self-respect, and finding fulfillments in the roles within inside of you that you choose to play in your daily life. So, segment 2 in our immersion series, we're going to be going over demything the identity versus identity influencers that I just kind of mentioned and hinted to a little bit ago. And in that segment, you'll get to know exactly what and where those identity influencers belong, how they serve you, and where it's time to release some of them and claim our new ones that we want to dive into and become. Okay. So for now, we're just getting our toes wet. We're just feeling the water and seeing how it feels inside of your first identity immersion segment. I'm going to leave you here with a little bit of reflection questions that I would like you to begin to ponder for the rest of the day or for a few moments and ask yourself in your own mind, or even write them down, journal them out, whatever feels best for you. A few little reflection questions. The first one, how do you feel right now about this moment in your life? How do you feel right now about who you are in this moment in your life? The next question is, what things about you excite you and light you up? And lastly, what ways do you feel you may have outgrown some of your old identity factors, beliefs, elements that you're currently being defined as still? So, what ways do you feel you have outgrown identity features that you're still being defined as? Okay, amazing. I will see you in segment 2 with inside of this identity immersion, where we are going to demyth what identity is and what identity influencers are. So stay tuned and we'll get started very soon. See you soon.